He made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for bounce back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. No. He inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months.
1.25%.
And then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like
Doug
a
Life,
bunch
drink.
of people that didn't know what
Billy,
they
be quick
were
with the
doing,
ding.
and they don't know what they were doing. It was
And the horn.
probably the worst administration in history. There's never been. And as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life. First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking, complex but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception.
Here we go.
Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives. Everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so, they started talking about how many weeks and how many this, getting into other things. But every legal scholar throughout the world, the most respected, wanted it brought back to the states. I did that. Now the states are working it out. If you look at Ohio, it was a decision that was an end result that was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different. But they're all making their own decisions right now. And right now, the states control it. That's the vote of the people.
Don't spend too much time on this. Perry, put it on Biden. Ask him, what's the... So Joe, what would you do? What's the limitation? Where would you stop it? He can't answer. Toss it to Joe right now. Turn this into an opportunity.
Exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow your heart, but you have to get elected also, and because that has to do with other things. You got to get elected. The problem they have is they're radical because they will take the life of a child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth. After birth, if you look at the former governor of Virginia,
Ralph Northam.
he was willing to do this. He said, well, put the baby aside.
If Biden says that's not true, we're going to make sure it's publicly available. Ralph Northam saying, we'll make the child comfortable and then decide what to do.
I got a whole bit on it.
The country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
Thank you. President Biden?
Let's see.
It's been a terrible thing, what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of the constitutional...
The European nations together have spent $100 billion or maybe more than that, less than us. Why doesn't he call them and say, you got to put up your money like I did with NATO? I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO said Trump did the most incredible job.
Well, she won't blink for a full minute.
It looks like one flew over the cuckoo's nest. You know what I mean? When they're all doped up?
Yes. You're coming back on the boat?
He didn't do that. He's getting all, you got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent, and it has a bigger impact on them because of location, because we have an ocean in between. You got to ask them. As far as Israel and Hamas, Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one that wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
President
Doug
Biden,
Life,
you have a
drink.
minute.
Watch Louder with Crowder live Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.